Alright, looks like everything is running smoothly here. Alright. Yep, no, I've got no issues here. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kuro no Kiseki. It's been a while since I've played a Kiseki game, so I'm really looking forward to it. If you can't tell by the title screen here, it's entirely in Japanese, so you know what I'm gonna have to do for that? Well, back when I was starting out streaming, I was like, let's play CS3 in Japanese because I need to experience it. I need to see it for myself. I don't think I can wait 2 years, 3 years. It might not even come because Xseed was going down the shitter when that happened, and fortunately, Nissa picked up the series. They've been doing a bang-up job localizing games, and they've even brought Crossbell over. We should be seeing an official English release of Zero no Kiseki in just a few months. It's kind of incredible how far we've come. But because there are so many games and so much text you have to go through, we are now living through this. So, thanks to the efforts of plenty of hard-working people, we have a English spreadsheet available. Check out that for a link. Currently, it's just for the demo chapters, Prologue and Chapter 1. But the full sheet will be released on the 4th, and I figure I will get to that point around there. So, you know, everything is all good in the hood. Let's just go ahead and get started. I will be using the same process I did for the other games, where I will be using the spreadsheet to translate the lines, but I will be voicing over the lines myself. The reason for that is I don't really have the equipment to set up an overlay system properly. So that is where we're at, and this is where we are. So let's go ahead and get ourselves started. We will be going on normal difficulty, because I always tend to start on normal difficulty. That is typically if they intend to have a difficulty, that's where I'll do it, so that's where I am. Could I probably play on a harder difficulty? Sure. Would I want to on a first playthrough? Probably not, especially since, you know, apparently the battle system's been revamped and stuff, so I'm going into this completely blind. I don't know if it's going to be as easy as the other Kiseki games are. But yeah, I'm eager to see what happens. Septine calendar 1208, August 26th, 2050. Ooh, that's neat. Midwestern Zemuria, Republic of Calvard. Capital city of Edith. God, this looks nice. I'm looking forward to this, that's for sure. Here it is. This is what you're after, right? Really had to work for this, you know? Got it from an antique shop in the middle of the city. Got my leg beat up, too. I'm gonna ache in the morning. Good work. Let me check the contents. Exactly as the boss described. Based on the craftsmanship, it doesn't look like a fake. Oh no, this is the real deal. So, they'll come to 1,000,000 Mira. Gonna pay in full or what? Sorry, didn't catch that. Advance payment was 100,000. And the fee for getting it successfully was 300,000, no? This is the going rate. It's really important to us. We worked real hard, you should make it worth our while. Not to mention we've heard plenty of rumors about you guys. There's a chance we might be able to work together next time, too. So consider this a sign of good faith. I see. How about we give you something better instead? You bastards. You're really doing this? Ah! Sons of bitches! Damn. Ah. Stupid idiots. Next time you try to blackmail someone, try to remember who you're talking to. The cops. They're on patrol right now? You got found out. Whatever. Let's get going. Wait, when did that... Where did it go? What are you all doing? Hey, Leia. Welcome to the stream. Choice. Gotta pull out. We need to run, too. What the hell is going on? Suspicious group spotted. It's the criminals from the reports. Capture them. Getting chased by the cops, huh? Perfect. So this was what A was after, huh? This thing reeks of Mira. Better head back to the Darklight District. Yeah. Better just go to the safe house over there. I'm glad you appreciate it, Leia. I'm having fun already. Although I wish this wasn't all just like bang, 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 so I could like actually like react and read instead of just like, oh shit, first read, first line, gotta go fast. gotta get used to that again. Oh, thank God, timed lines. Thank you very much. Please come again. Hey, it's closing time. Yeah, I know. Square, if you want to sleep, there's a bed upstairs. I thought I had my phone on mute. I guess I have it on vibrate. Whoops, let's flip that over. Good night, Mama, Uncle. I'm going to bed. Yep, good night, Yume. Good night. Don't forget to brush your teeth now. And this one's on the house. Oh, thank you. That's the kind of a treatment I expect from a lovely woman like you. You're very welcome. Watch your mouth, you damn tenant. You don't need to flirt with him, too. Something smells pretty fishy here. What is going on? What smells very fishy? I'm glad you're enjoying the reading as well, Terrence. My sister is telling me to tell you to stop drinking so much. I won't find it this way either, huh? I should have figured the regular searches would have their limits. I guess in the end I'm relying on her advice after all. Finding a way to break in through the orbital net? I can't help but feel a little guilty about it. I found it. There was a robbery last weekend from an antique store in the capital. but it was left unreported due to the possibility that the goods were illegally acquired in the first place? Oh. This really does sound like trouble, doesn't it? You notice how it says Kitty on there? Sounds like Ren's already doing work. We can't be sure if that person is involved. And the password is exactly as she said. Ren beat Google, yep. Hey Crimson, glad you could pop in, and I'm glad you're gonna check out the VOD. For SPG for Spriggan. So this one is real too? Arkride Solutions Office, Edith City, 8th District, 521-3201. The super illegal version of Google. Yeah. Who needs Google when you've got, Kitty Google? The next day. August 27th, 10:05 a.m. Capital city of Edith, Old Town. Man, check out that GPS on that phone. Montmartre. This must be the right place. Is this a bistro? It gives off such a lovely aura. Have a good night, Terrence. Is my destination really on the 2nd floor? Oh, are you here for dinner? I don't think that's right. Are you here for a bite to eat? It's probably better. She does have an aura voice, oh man. We're still serving breakfast. Or perhaps your business was with the office upstairs. Oh, yes. Is the office upstairs really Mr. Arkride's? Yes, and since he hasn't come down yet... Sorry. Yes, and since he hasn't had breakfast yet, he should still be there. It's possible he's not even awake yet, but if you knock a few times, he'll hear you. He is a creature of the night. I understand that all too well. 10 o'clock is way too early to get up. Seriously. Arkride Solutions Office. Only for customers and complicated matters. Oh, they were so close. This seems good enough. Of course, they got the promo shot right away there. Customer this early in the morning? Are you a customer by chance? Yes. I have a certain matter I'd like to take up with the Arkride Solutions Office. Dun dun dun. Oh, thank you. It's nice to meet you. My name is Agnes Claudel. Man, I love this music. I'm currently living in the Ober district. You're a student of Aramis High School. It's the most prestigious academy in the capital. Probably the entire Republic. From the looks of it, you must be a freshman living in the dorms there. I'm surprised you knew. Oh, it must be because of my uniform, right? Well, when you live in the capital, you'll definitely stand out with a uniform like that. I'm just making a guess you're a first year, though. Your physical development aside, you seem a bit naive. Damn it, he would just come out and say it. What? Physical? I appreciate him already. Name's Van. Van Arkride. I'm not sure why you're here today, but... The fact that you know about 4SPGS means you probably know at least something about what I do. Yes. You're a contractor that takes on work that's hard to approach the Bracer Guild or the police about. I've heard people like you are known as Spriggans. Not a bad answer, I guess. It's not just things that are hard to approach the Bracers or police about. Sometimes it's something that's impossible to approach them about. Talking about business on the edge of the law. You know what I'm talking about? Oh. I think I know. Probably. Well, whatever. Why don't you start by telling me what's on your mind? Although I can't promise I'll accept the conditions. Oh, yes, of course. Well then. Wait, you have a Zypha? Don't tell me they hand those out to students at school now. It's something like that, but not exactly. This is it. Is that some kind of old pocket watch? No. What I'm hoping to ask is very simple. I'm looking for this old orbment. It's something that my grandpa, my great-grandfather, lost several years ago. When did you take this picture? Well, I don't want to get into all the details, but it's something I found by scouring the Orbital net. What are your questions, Terrence? It seems it was stolen from an antique store in the capital a week ago. Ah, I see. You used a special app that violated the P4 protocol then. But this is... Honestly, I think you'd be better off leaving this to the guild or the police. I don't respect Colonel Sanders and I don't play chess. I don't know what kind of tech this is, but it does seem very valuable as an antique. And considering the fact that it was stolen, there's probably a lot of nasty groups involved. And I mean, sure, it's a memento of a lost relative. Probably the guild would be eager to help you out with that sort of thing. Well... I can't do that. There's no way I could go to the police, let alone the Bracer Guild. I have no idea why that would be, but... Ugh, where are my manners? I forgot to put out some snacks. Oh, that reminds me, I almost forgot. This is a cake from a famous cafe near the school. They only sell 20 of these a day, so they must be really good. Wait, the late summer special cake from Andalusia? It's a special made tart, covered with a delicious molasses frosting, and topped with orange figs! You're quite the expert, aren't you? Well, man loves his cake. I can appreciate that. Prologue. Spriggan from Old Town. This is the best dub ever. Oh, I certainly hope not. I'm not even a classically trained voice actor. Alright. Let me get one thing straight. I'm not doing this just because you gave me a limited edition cake. Got it? Right. But it does seem you really like sweets, though. I thought you were gonna have it right away, but you put it in the fridge. Quite gingerly, I might add. A limited edition cake like that? It'll be perfect after a hard day's work. Oh, crap, I forgot it was near the school. Must be nice to be a student, and you can just go get one whenever you want. Getting one is a source of competition among us as well. So, Chief Arkride? Are you sure you're okay with this? Well, the special cake was really a nice incentive, but you're still gonna have to pay the retainer fee. And let me warn you, I charge more than the guild does. Yes, that's no issue. I've prepared some mirror already. So, where are we going first? Well, when it comes to stolen goods, I know a certain particularly sharp-nosed old man. He's a bit of a pain in the ass, but you should be able to find him in the 6th District this afternoon. The 6th District? You must mean the Riverside. Then we should take the subway. Nah, this time of day it's faster to take the bus. Still before 11 o'clock after all. Let's take care of this case and then reward ourselves with that special limited cake. Well then, I'm looking forward to working with you, Chief Arkride. Yes, same here. But you can just call me Van, Miss Claudel. Oh. Very well, Van. And please, you can just call me Agnes. Sorry, I keep going Agnes and Agnes. Sometimes I will do those interchangeably, and it's just like, ugh. Okay, I don't understand any of these. But I did understand that. Hit the options button to save. Okay, I kinda... I also got a trophy, so that's good stuff. So we can just go to the menu like that, that's cool. Status. God, there are so many tutorials that I just don't understand. Okay, I have to hit start again when I'm in the save menu. Okay, that's how you save. Okay. I'm figuring this out. I'm sure I'll get used to this in time. As you can see, our orbment menu is currently grayed out, so I don't know what to do about that. The armor UI looks really cool, though. Does seem to be the same stuff as usual. What the hell's a sub weapon? Huh? I don't have any DLC open. So, yeah. Alright, let's mosey around town. Oh. I don't know what they were saying. Damn it. The game wants me to go into Montmartre first. This is, Old Lady Natalia. Yeah, this is normal difficulty. I'm not going overboard there. Today's breakfast is just so delicious. But the dessert is a real thing to look forward to. I can't wait to give it a try. Van, good morning! Oh? Morning, Squirt. You're lively as ever today. She's cute. I like her. Did you brush your teeth? And wash your face? And remember to eat breakfast? You have to remember to do those things every morning. I did, I promise. You sure like acting like my mom, don't you? Well, you're pretty hopeless, Van. I need to help you grow up. Oh, who are you? Good morning to you. Good morning. Aw, you're so cute. This is the daughter of the bistro's owner. Basically my neighbor. Ah, it looks like you found him then. Oh, thank you so much for your help before. Oh, you've already met Paulette? Yeah, I ran into her in front of your building. She pointed me to your office. Oh, don't worry. This kind of thing tends to happen a lot. Van's office isn't exactly easy to find. Yes, I never would have expected to find a place like that above such a nice shop. Paulette's your waifu? I mean, I can see why. She's got, like, serious Emma vibes going on right now. Just like Emma a few years older and, maybe a little less thick, but, you know, pretty close. It's good camouflage, huh? Not that I really had that goal in mind. Looks like someone's already up to some funny business. Yo, Victor, how's it going? You're actually awake in the morning for once? When are you getting back? And wait, who's this? Hey, you menace of a tent! You aren't luring out girls with a high upbringing now, are you? Don't say stuff like that could cause weird misunderstandings. She's just a client. That's right. Well, proper aside, I did submit a request. Seems like you've got some business going on. Alright then, listen up. Don't go taking her around any nasty parts of town, you hear? And make sure you don't eat too many sweets. You'll end up with cavities that way. I feel you, Feb. I feel you. That's right. It's just like you said, Yume. You got that, you scoundrel? I got it. Just don't talk down to me like that in front of my client. Aw, you all seem so close. We've known Van for a long time. But please be careful now, you two. Oh, and let me know if you feel like eating anything. I'll whip it up for you right away. Yeah, Yume is definitely a cutie. This looks like the shop menu. So, like, if I go triangle to a shop... Oh, okay, yeah, so there's a talk option, and then there's a shop option. Neat. Let's go talk to Yume first, because she's on the list. So your name is Agnes, huh? Hey, you want to come play with me sometime? I want to chat some more. Of course I do. Let's chat again soon. Oh, brother. Alright, we're leaving now. Do take care, you two. Oh, and it was very nice to meet you, Agnes. Got it. We'll take care of it and we'll be back soon. It was nice meeting you too, Paulette. I don't have the mirror for all this stuff. This is... gourmet points. Like, I will buy one of these because... Sure, but... What are gourmet points? I don't know, I guess I'll figure it out as I go. Alright. Let's go talk to Victor here. You no good punk. Don't go taking that girl around anywhere shady, you hear me? Not gonna go easy on you if you're getting her into trouble. He seems like a good landlord. Yeah, he's good enough. He's a real talented chef, though. You should try out the food here if you ever get the chance. Wow, they have a lot of NPC dialogue on this spreadsheet. Like, even this random guy here. Ah, man. It's gonna take a break before heading to work in the afternoon. And there's no better place to do it than Montmartre. Especially when Pauletta's around to give us some extra energy. It's nice to have such a pretty woman doting on us customers, even if we have our own families. Hey man, don't make me tell Margaret what you just said. Oh, come on, let it slide, man. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. I think I heard some kids' voices outside. Oh, sorry about that. It's probably my son Harry playing the fool again. I haven't had time to play with him recently. I really need to think about that some more. You're an upstanding dad, just like me. Makes me miss the days when we were kicking loose together. Okay, so their names were Hawker and Robinson. But I want to hear... Oh, they don't actually have lines. Interesting. So yeah, not every NPC is talkable to, but I'm really just like enjoying how nice everything looks. Yume's best character. Yume's pretty cool. I like her so far. Anyway, we can talk to newspaper lady. Yo, old lady, I'll take the usual. Oh, and throw in one of the new ones too. Huh? All you ever eat is candy, Van. This is a tobacco stand. Go buy some cigarettes already. Yeah, I don't smoke, though. Don't really need them. Learn how to speak to your elders properly. Adios above, I swear. Are you two always like this? Alright, so we got something for the notebook. So I can clearly understand that much. And, that gives 8 CP, so that's cool, but also... I'm gonna hold off. Okay, so this is what the active voice line was that I missed. I've been meaning to polish this thing for a while now. I guess I'll have to do it tomorrow. And Anius is like, is this a garage? Yeah, so that's what I missed there, because I went to see it first. Oh, hi there, Van. Yo, what are you doing in a place like this? Nothing in particular, just looking for Harry. I went to go read my favorite book this morning, but I found a certain somebody had swapped it out with a comic book. Great. Well, don't bully him too much. Oh, of course! It looks like he knows the kids around the neighborhood fairly well. Okay, so I can use the R1 button to sprint. Good, because I'll be using that a lot. Also, what are these two kids doing? Oh wait, I actually have these lines there. They're way up at the top here. Van, shh, you're gonna get us caught. She's gonna catch us. Sorry, didn't know you kids were playing hide and seek again. Play as much as you want, but make sure you guys don't get hurt. Not that you guys even listen to me anyway. Oh, come on, it'll be fine. I'm not gonna lose to someone like Shino. Or Sheena. That's right, we always capture her first and take her as a hostage. Mark, don't jinx it! The two of us finally got away! I know, just leave it to me. Don't worry, kids, you got this. Yeah, Edith says this place is actually really nice. Like, I really love the care and detail they put into the city. Also, I'm getting railroaded already, so I can't, like, explore things in more detail, but, like, look at the buildings. This feels like a city. You know, it's just like... It's like Vesta Street, but, like, way more oomph to it, you know? I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, let us progress. Oh, here's the bus stop. Looks like he'll be coming soon. We can hitch a ride to the 6th district from here. There's not a lot of time left. Maybe I should grab something from the tobacco stand before I go. But, nah. I assume I want the first option. Yeah. Yeah, being able to talk to all the NPCs is really part of what makes Trails so charming, and part of the reason why I always look forward to playing the English version, even after I've beaten it in Japanese, because I can always get the extra dialogue lines and really feel the world around you. I think the spreadsheet has shown that they're going to put a lot more into that, though, and I'm really enjoying that as well. Because I always like talking to the NPCs, figuring out what they're doing, what they're up to. I don't usually talk to, like, all of them, but having the ability to talk to as many as you can is really nice for world building and stuff. Anyway, 6th District, Riverside. Oh, this place is beautiful. I've heard a lot from the rumors, but I've never actually come to this part of town myself. Well, it's a bit off the main drag. It's basically a business district, and so it gets pretty busy. There's a few interesting stores here as well, but you also get some suspicious groups out in the quiet parts. That includes me, of course. So, where would we find that guy who knows about the stolen goods? Well, he's a pretty cautious old man, so he generally moves around between a few houses. Wednesday afternoon, he likes to spend time by the stalls. Although it doesn't look like he's here just yet. Well, at this point, all we can really do is wander around until he decides to show up. I see. So, do you happen to know him personally, Van? If he does provide us with any information, we might have to compensate him with a suitable reward. Oh, I forgot to mention. Uh-huh. So, this old man, the one familiar with stolen goods, he's a bit of a sleazebag. He'd probably sell off his own relatives for Mira. Several people have met with Rune just from dealing with him. So, let me handle the talking, and you just keep an eye on him and make sure you don't leave him an opening. Roger that. Damn. I like how Van's already in protective big brother mode, and he's just met this girl. He's just like, okay, you're my client, but, like, I'm gonna make sure you don't do anything stupid. I'm dealing with some shady shit, but you don't have to. And I really like that about him already. I'm enjoying him quite a bit. Now this is a tutorial. You can view your current objective in the top corner of the screen. Completing this objective will advance the story. About the minimap magnified view. Pressing down on the D-pad will magnify the minimap. Information about the surrounding area will be displayed. Use it to see more detail. Okay, so that's how you get the minimap to go out. Van's pretty different, but in a great way. Yeah, I'm seeing that already. He definitely feels like more world-weary than Reen did. Until, like, the very end. Of course, I enjoyed Reen's development to that point, so it's cool. Alright, so there's a lot of little exclamation points we're going to check out, so I'm just going to do this in order of the spreadsheet. So he should appear somewhere down near the terrace there. Let's keep our eyes open while we move around. And the zoom, so fast, whoosh. Bermati? It looks like this cafe is closed. It's a cafe and bar, and it's only active at night. We don't need to be here anyway, so let's keep moving. Yeah, I've got the spreadsheet open in another window as I'm playing. I don't have the overlay set up because I don't want to, like, switch it over to my computer on PS4 Share and then, like, record it on OBS from there. So it's just like, this is much easier for me. Let's talk to Sayla here. Even after the summer festival, there wasn't any effect. Things got so lively in front of the Treon Tower, so why? Must be that we still don't have enough power. That's it, isn't it? She's quite pretty. I wonder what she's talking about, though. It'd probably spoil the mood if we tried to talk to her now, though. Ah, there he is. Huh? Wait, Van, is that him? Yeah, that's the DI. I'm gonna call out to him. I don't know what this person's actually saying. I just thought that was the exclamation point, but the exclamation point's actually down here. Naturally. Oh man, he's eating a taco. It's Taco Tuesday. Even though it's Friday. Alright, let me see here. Well, there's no way they'll figure it out, so I can just charge whatever the hell I want. Hey, old man Guacamo. We call him Taco Man. Yeah. Nah, he's Guacamo. He's guacamole. That's it. Oh, great. It's the Arkride brat. The hell do you want? You're always bringing me bad news. Deep L translated his name to Geronimo. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Oh, come on. Is that how you treat a friend? After our last run-in with the cops, I think we came out with a pretty good compromise, I'd say. The hell do you mean, pretty good? I lost a lot because of that old lady's spare cash, thanks to your meddling, you know? You think you can just casually greet me as if we're like fellow shady businessmen or some shit? Hey man, I'm just doing my job. Not my fault you always let your greed get the better of you. That aside, let's leave this water under the bridge for now and talk some business. Business? Oh. Oh, you brought a real cutie with you, didn't you? In that uniform. Pleased to meet you. I'm Agnes Claudel. Yeah, she's my client. She's got something that she's searching for. Searching for? Huh. It's an old orbment that was stolen from an antique shop about a week ago. And because the thing itself was originally stolen goods, no report was filed. Based on the method used, it seems like it was the work of some local gang. This seems right up your alley, no? Ah, I see. Interesting story, but I'm afraid I have no idea. Plus, I've kind of got the heat on me right now. They might catch me if I don't get a move on. Really? Yeah, I may not look it, but I'm a pretty capable information broker. By the way, what kind of item is that thing to you? You seem like a fairly well-off young lady. It's actually a keepsake from my great-grandfather. Due to certain circumstances, it was lost years ago. I apologize, but I can't go into any more detail than that. I see. Don't really get it, but if it's a family keepsake, I get why it's so important. So, that's what brought you to me, huh? Hey, Why don't you let me take this case on for you? In a case like this, a guy like me would be way more valuable than that youngster over there. Huh? My apologies, but I've already trusted Chief Arkride with this matter. But we wanted to consult with you to check the veracity of the information we've already gathered. Well, she is a student from prestigious school after all. She's more formidable than she looks. If you do happen to come across anything, please send it my way. I'll pay you accordingly. Fine, if I find anything. See you later then, Missy. If you feel free to change your mind, go ahead and pass the case along to me. I'm sorry, I might have talked to him too much. Nah, I'd say I'd give you a 70% on that. Huh? In times like this, you only need to give your name and the bare minimum amount of information while looking for an opening. Then, I can handle the rest from here. More than half about what you said was intentional, right? Well... yeah, although it was just my naive attempt as a young girl. But based on how that went, we have no idea when he might contact us. There's no need to wait. All we have to do now is grab him by the tail when he shows it. Huh? Antiques, crime by a local gang, information about your grandfather's keepsake. Thinking of a quick money-making scheme, he revealed his ulterior motive too easily. It was a pretty half-baked scheme, honestly. And he didn't even take a copy of that photo. So, he's already connected the case somehow? Or maybe he's the actual culprit? Yeah, that seems pretty likely. So, guess we should go after him now. Huh? But if that's the plan, where are you going? He went the other way. Told you he has a lot of hideouts, right? And he's even got a small base here in the riverside. It's only about 10 minutes away, so let's go and look for it. Right. Damn, Van is smooth. Both the notebook menu and help menu. You can access the note menu with the touch button. Tutorials provided in-game will be added to the help menu. We should come out to the terrace area if we keep heading this way. Let's go slowly so we don't attract attention. Things I won't do. Anyway, we're saving again. I really like that it's quick to save, so I don't have to wait for too long. Also, what do you got for sale here? Shawarma! I do love me some shawarma. But for the time being, let's not. I don't think that one was listed. Anyway, let's check out this hideout here. Is this? This looks like an ordinary door to me. Yeah, it's an entrance to the subway. It's maintained by the feds. Seems like the lock was recently replaced, though. Shouldn't be hard to pick it open. Wait a second. Isn't that trespassing? Well, it's not technically illegal, but it is a gray area. You want to stay here for now? No, it's fine. Please, take me with you. Great. Watch your step now. Road? Hi. Van teaching kids to break the law. Hey man, lockpicking and trespassing is not technically breaking the law, according to Van. Even though it is in fact breaking the law. But, shh, don't worry about that. This subway passage really gives off a different kind of atmosphere. It feels almost refreshing. I bet it feels pretty novel compared to where you live. That said, I'm gonna have to take back my words from earlier. You should turn back here. Go kill time near the stalls or something. Huh? Those are monsters. Even in the capital, you can find them in the underground areas. Though the guild is supposed to be cleaning them out. In any case, this is no place for me to escort a lady like you, so I'll go find the old man myself. Van? I'm the one who submitted this request, so I'm prepared for anything. I promise not to get in your way, so will you please take me along? Huh? Come on now, we're not going for a picnic here or anything. Even if you have used a Zypha before, I doubt you've gone against monsters as your opponents. I came prepared with more, so please, allow me to act as support. Alright, we don't have the time to be arguing about this. Get a move on, then. And if it looks like you're getting in the way, I'll have you fall back to the stalls. It's for your safety. Do you understand? Yes, I'm looking forward to fighting with you. Alright. Combat time. Finally gonna see what combat's like. Alright then, let's give this a whirl. Hey, I gotta ask, do you know about shards? Shards? They're a special force field that the Zypha can produce, right? I did have a chance to try using it in a mock battle. I used it mostly as a defensive shield. Yeah, you got the gist of it. Mastering shards will allow you to apply them to attacks and collaborate strategies. However, if you end up using it, you'll want to deploy it in the surrounding area at the start of a fight. And if I deploy a shard, that's our signal to start fighting. Alright, you ready? I'm fine anytime. Alright, here goes then. Shard, activate! Alright, tutorials. Command battles. Battles will evade based on the AT bar. The character labeled as next will receive the next turn. Okay. Attacking movement. Move the left stick. You can freely move around in the circle. You can do a normal attack with X. Move, switch targets by pressing left and right on the D-pad. So, I go up here. I whack him. Guarding. You can use up or down the D-pad and then press X to guard. Guarding will greatly reduce damage taken. Guarding has little delay, so you'll be able to act again soon after. Because I can't... No, I can get to them. I can just whack them from here. Fuck guarding. Although I gotta say, I don't like the way the ATB system looks. Alright, this is crafts. You can press R1 to use crafts. Actions such as attacking and receiving damage will generate CP, which can be expended to use crafts. There are some crafts that are more effective from the back and the front. Different characters will learn different crafts as the story advances or as they level up. So, like... Okay. I see. Do I... Okay, that's how I choose. Gotcha. Looks like Agnes is strictly a healing one. And considering that those two hits already took me to like half health, yeah, you know what? Okay. Cool. Wait, is aggro an actual thing in this? Because I saw hate up, which I assume is an aggro thing. Yeah, that's cool. It looks it feels a lot like the regular combat system. The only thing I dislike is that the ATV page has you left and right, so you don't, like, you know who's going first, but you have to spend extra time thinking about it, because it's not just like, oh, turn orders on the left, you can see. They goes first, then I go first, and etc., etc. It's just like, oh, he's closer to the center of the screen than the other guy, so I go first, or whatever. Anyway. Alright, that takes care of that. Moved pretty well if that was your first real fight. No, you just gave very good instructions, man. I was wondering, though, that's quite the rare holo you're using. Your holo's the general purpose aim, right? Mine's a custom type made specifically for me. Can't be wielded by anyone else. So yeah, I'd say it's a bit special in that regard. The model MKESV004, Mare. It's an experimental test model from a certain manufacturer. It's got higher performance than the general purpose models, but thanks to that, it's a bit noisy. It makes for good entertainment, at least. Oh, really? I didn't find it noisy at all, though. These Zypha units sure are useful, though, aren't they? Yeah, they're the 6th generation combat orbment, Zypha. Of course, the most important new features compared to the old models are the support AIs, and the shards. I can teach you the fundamentals on how to use shards as needed. Anyway, let's keep moving like this. Yes, it sounds good. Orbment information has been added to the help menu of your notebook. Combat complete. Data collected. Whoa. That was not my intent. This is, your orbment charging stations? They look different. Oop. I just want to get out of there. But it also refreshes you a lot faster, which is cool. Also, dodge rolls. Dodge rolls in combat, and that's cool. 2 lizard-type monsters, the same as before. Well, we won't need to activate our shard for this one. Let's just take care of them normally. Roger. Okay. I guess I just use circle to whack them and X to dodge. You can perform change attacks by pressing circle repeatedly. Okay. I see. So you use the action combat for, like, easy fights, and then you use turn-based mode for, you know, harder fights. I see. Makes sense. Glad that's over. Good work. We managed to get through that without activating a shard. Looks like your combat skills with the orbital staff are plenty proficient. Oh, thank you very much. I like it because I can distance myself from the targets and keep a level mind while I fight. Sounds like it's a good fit for you. Just leave the front line to me and act as my support. Understood. By the way, your weapon... It looks like a sword, but it doesn't have a blade. This is called a stun caliber. Just like Mare, it's a special item from a certain company. If I use its gimmick, a blade will... Well, that aside. We can either fight like we did now, and take them all in at once, or activate a shard and prepare ourselves a bit more. Based on the situation, going forward, we can make the call before the battle starts. Whatever we end up doing, make sure you put your all into it. I'll do my best. Switching to command battle. By pressing square, you can deploy your shard. You can switch this to command battle at any time. Okay, so that's cool. This is for S-crafts, I guess? So, if I hold down circle... No, circle just runs me away. Gotcha. Good to know. Yeah, thanks, game. I kind of figured out how to run away, but, how do I activate the S skill? I don't know. I guess I have to wait for that to, like, charge up more. It's gonna take me a while to get used to this. I will freely admit to that. And we can just break boxes for fun, just like the old times. Ooh, shiny. I don't know what that shiny was, but we got a shiny. I'm just looking for treasure. Oh. Oh, fuck. Camera! Please. Alright. Okay, so you can just hit the touch menu to pull up enemy data. I see. And use this to switch around, see what arts they're weak to. I can't use arts yet, but it's cool to know. Alright. Let's hit them with the good stuff. Damn. That was a surprising amount of damage. Van might need a little more HP, so... I think he doesn't use EP. Ooh. I mean, the CP regeneration does seem to be, like, fairly fast. So, it's good to know. Oh, no, open it. Why? I want X to be the open button, but he just, like, kind of backflips away from it. Alright, that's a healing item. If I don't draw their aggro, I'm not gonna fight them. Or I'm actually just not gonna fight them. Drones, huh? They're a pain to fight. Their bodies are gelatinous, so our normal attacks won't do nearly as much damage. But my orbital staff should do the trick. You understand. These enemies need to be focused down with orbital arts. But your orbital staff is zero cast time, and discharge functions much like arts do. I can use arts technically, but it seems to be more your style, honestly. Understood. You can utilize arts by pressing square during command battle. Selecting to activate an art will consume EP and require you to wait before it's cast. The cast item on the AT bar will indicate cast time. Press square again to switch between attack and support arts. Attack arts are useful against enemies with high physical resistance or evasion rates. Support arts can serve useful functions like healing and buffing your allies. So, you can just pull this up. You can see he's weak to earth and wind. Judging by the colors, we can see what ones we have. Let's go with this. Uh-oh. He's gonna get that cast off before I hit him. Alright. Despite what they were saying, it seems like that did a fair bit of damage, so I don't know. Alright. That was cool. The arts look really nice and snappy. I like them. That takes care of that. Nice work, man. Although, figured we would hear some noise right away. Is something the matter? No, not a thing. If we come across more enemies like them, your orbital staff will be essential. And it looks like you're pretty good using arts, too. I'll be counting on your support going forward. Just make sure not to overextend into the front. Van? Okay, understood. About health regen. You can regenerate HP during battle using arts or items from the main menu via options. Triangle selects item menus and you can find HP regen items there. Square selects your arts. Enemy advantage. If your party leader gets hit while at critical HP, you'll be forced into a command battle where your enemies will have advantage. Okay, so make sure not to run around with low HP. Got it. Seems pretty simple. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the environments so far. Probably gonna want to get into a command battle so I can use arts. Oh, excuse me. Actually, we're gonna have him just come up front and hit it. The reason is, Agnes's HP is low and I need to get to the front lines here, so... Support is a heal craft, that is tier. I can at least understand that much. The nice thing is when you have the arrow ones, you can just, like, move and then do this. This is great. This makes these way better. Oh, did I mute it? Dope. Say it again. Oh, it's still trying to cast even though it's muted. That's adorable. Easy peasy. I gotta stop doing that. Alright, that looks like an accessory. HP plus 200. And is that a resistance as well? Resistance to something. So I'm gonna put it on. Equipment. Yeah. Health up. I'm gonna see if my phone can figure out what that resistance is. Fortunately, I do not understand my Japanese quite that well. Let us see here. Ooh. Okay, it's poison resistance, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, poison resistance seems like it'd be pretty good on Agnes. If I go to orbment, pull up the orbment menu here. I'm gonna have to, like, actually get a translation menu out for this one when I get to it, but So good to know. Strength, speed. I can understand like the bottom stuff well, pretty much. So, that's already equipped though, isn't it? But, wait. Okay, so even though they show up here, they're all equipped. Yeah, because there's zeros of ones, not one of ones. Okay, I can understand that much. I have a lot of locked slots at the moment, but I can kind of see where things are going. Alright, so that's Agnes's hollow core. That's his. These must be like master quartzes or whatever. And yeah, we can see all the stuff I don't understand one bit. I'm just gonna give Agnes one of these right now. Alright. I never thought monsters were dwelling this close by. Well, you better not forget to thank your local bracers. See, bracers actually do something in Calvard. Unlike in Erebonia, where they're just like, yeah, Tobal runs the branch. He runs all the branches. It's just him. He occasionally gets Sarah to help him out, but... Rudeness. The audacity of these bitches. Okay, I probably shouldn't have gone with the line one for this. I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna move. Alright, I can hit him with arts, but I don't have a lot of, like, EP left, so you know what? Just give him the business. I like not dying. Not dying is actually pretty cool, I gotta say. Wow. I guess we get overkill bonuses too? That's cool. That's good to keep in mind if I want to farm more Sepith. Not dying is a good plan. I concur. Alright, let's see what's in this door over here. Huh. Would these be Guacamo's footprints? Yeah, we should be close. I think he passed through here a few minutes ago. But even so, that's strange. Oh, now that you mention it, how did he manage to get past all these monsters so easily? Yeah, I didn't hear any gunshots, so he must have been able to slip by without fighting. But I think about it like that. You know what's going on? Nah, just got a bad feeling. Anyway, we're almost at his hideout, so let's move cautiously. Right. Well, we're not there yet because we haven't run into an orbment charging station. There's more here than I thought. What should we do? Try to take them out one by a time? It might be small fry, but this might take a while. I'll break through them all at once. Follow my lead. Right. charge attacks. You can press R2 on the field to perform a charge attack that will be used when the action gauge is filled. The gauge will be filled by attacking enemies. Performing a just dodge will fill the gauge to its maximum. Oh, God. Oh. If you press square while the enemy is stunned, it will perform a shard attack. Following a shard attack, your party will be able to act first in battle. Use charge attacks to stun your opponent. Okay. I getcha. This is about stun menu stuff. Stun enemies will be temporarily unable to act. You can stun enemies during command battle by attacking them. See how close enemies to stun by using their stun gauge. Stun enemy with an AT bonus, you can steal it for yourself. Okay. I can get all of them at once. Let's do that. Yeah, I see. So you hit him with the stun attack and then you pop the shards so you can get advantage encounters. I see. That makes sense. Still alive. Wait, what? The heck? Huh? Wait, what just happened there? Is that the effect of a shard coming up? Because it was about to use an art on Anya's, and then Van was like, nope. Not so fast. Okay. I don't quite understand what happened there, but that was cool. I assume this is the whole, shard stuff activating. Meanwhile... Seriously. This thing is useful, but it tires you out way too fast. Well, it might be crap, but it was the 5th generation after all. And the army used it to good effect. I'm just glad I was able to get my hands on it using the intel I extorted out of that corrupt officer. Right, I kind of remember seeing that. I'll have to go over the orbment stuff in more detail when I'm not on stream, because I can be like, okay, now I understand what's going on here. Now then, what should I do next? It isn't likely those goods will get found after I hid them there, but... I'm sure A would give me a pretty high price for it. But a research lab or manufacturer might do the trick as well. That brat who was with Arkride seemed to know its true value at least. Seems like it might be worth it to try and outwit them this time. And if all goes well, I can get more than just Mira. There's quite a lot to look forward to with this one. Haven't you heard the saying about counting your chickens before they've hatched? Huh? What? How did you get here? That reaction tells us everything. You were there that night after all. Not only did you track those gang members, you even got information from the police. Have to hand it to you. You're quite the competent information broker. Wait a second. I know I'm at fault here, but I'll give you back what I stole. And I'll pay any amount of Mira or information you need. I swear on the goddess that I'd never oppose you or anyone from A. It's a little late for that. Taking this lightly, you'll pay with your fear? Ah! Huh? What was that? That was Giacomo. Come with me, but don't fall behind. Right. So it came to this? What in the world is going on? Don't die, Mivan. That'd be cool. Ooh, counterattack. That's cool. I didn't realize I could do that. Damn, Van's just gone full Fee mode here. Healing your menu by pressing start, square, square again to access your arts outside of combat? Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that because I was like messing around, but I was like, I couldn't figure out what I was doing. Let's just take this guy. It really feels like this should be an impede thing. So we're gonna find out if it impedes. It does not. I thought it was worth a try at least. Bam. Get out of here. Oh, Anya's leveled up, and she got a craft. I don't know what that says. I don't know. Chromium something. Alright, there's an orbment charging station, which means there's a save point for me. Alright, so I just want to try that thing. Yeah, square square lets me do that. Cool. But I really gotta stop doing the, oh, there's the thing, I better backflip away from it. Ugh. Huh? Oh, shit, he got toasted. Van, Guacmos, we have to help! It's too late. He's already dead. No way. There's signs of resistance. And they cut his throat before he had any chance to escape. The weapon was probably a knife. No. A machete. And look at this finger on his left hand. What are you two doing here? What is this? Yeah, this is definitely new territory for Trails. Holy shit. Look at all that blood! Huh? Information broker Yakumo. And just before he was about to consent to a voluntary interrogation by the police, too. Looks like he was treading in some pretty dangerous waters. Seems like we'll have to ask all of you to relay the information you have. 1310. Crime scene secured. 2 critical witnesses on the scene. Take them to the station. God, I can't believe we're getting arrested for a crime we didn't commit. Now we're really doing it. It took Lloyd like 100 hours in-game to get arrested. We've done it in an hour and a little bit. So, props to us. Van the Goat. So, yeah, Capital City of Edith, Satan District, Capital Police Headquarters, 3:20 p.m. Miss Claudel, won't you please speak to us? Why were you there? Did the man you were with bribe you or something? Bribe me? I'm the one who asked him to go. But about the contents of my request, I'm very sorry, but it's something I chose to confide in Chief Arkride. You... Aren't you afraid that you're gonna drag the name of the Aramis Academy through the mud? I don't think we're gonna let you off the hook without contacting your school, at the very least. I understand. How did it end up like this? The person we were just talking to a few hours ago is... Can't believe it. And now Van's tied up with my issue too. Cut it out already, Van Arkride. You just happened to be wandering around down there? The girl you had with you was just on a field trip? Or did you seriously think an excuse like that would work? Hey man, those are the facts. There's no use arguing with me. I came with you all the way here on this voluntary interrogation, didn't I? Why would I make stuff up now? You're a damn fixer, aren't you? We already know you're in a suspicious line of work. The fact that you were at the scene of a murder and not be connected somehow is kind of hard to believe. Like I said, it's a complete coincidence. In fact, I'm the real victim here. Oh, by the way, I'm also qualified as a handyman of sorts. I'm always providing services with a friendly smile. We're always here to support you solving any problem you might have. The Arkride Solutions office is looking forward to your patronage. You! And I mean, why were all of you there at a time like that anyway? That dude was a lowlife, that information broker. So, what business did you have with him? 2 investigators, and a full-fledged detective, no less. Huh? Looks like we can't use the usual methods with this guy. He's even more than the rumors had led us to believe. Name there is Daswani. State-of-the-art bladeless weapon. Newest model combat orbment. Your accomplishments these past few years have been exceedingly in the gray. I always towing the line between legal and illegal. You should know that we can change this into an arrest at any time, if we feel like it. Well, isn't that scary? But this weapon's just an extendable baton I use for self-defense. And the Zyphi I carry is no more for testing certain features using the orbital net. Although, I guess it is sourced by an unfamiliar foreign company. That even I can admit is a little sketchy. You really said it, huh? This kid has a screw loose, I swear. Inspector, I think we should be putting more pressure on him right now. I mean, he even lured out that cute girl. There's no way this guy's up to any good. Yeah, no, this music is like, you know, jazz bar nice. Oh, so you're into the naive types, huh? Well, you better be careful. As a cop, if you get caught dating an underage girl, it wouldn't be a laughing matter. Though, if you did get in trouble, I'd be happy to lend you an ear. Listen here! Don't fall for his bluffs. He's just trying to get you worked up. Yeah, you're not gonna have any luck using the upfront method with him. Oh shit, it's this guy. Oh? Why are you here? Outsiders aren't allowed. My apologies. A member of the CID who will be supporting you on this case. Ren Kincaid. I belong to the analysis team of the Calvard Intelligence Division. My name is Kincaid. I do appreciate your aid in searching for Giacomo Conte with us. Although it seems you were just another step behind in catching a small fry like him. Hey. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. But even though the criminals got away, this man has to know something. I think if we crack down a little more, we'll be able... No, there's no need for that. I'll be taking him and the girl who was with him. What? Run that by me again. Circumstantially, we can clear them of suspicion of Giacomo's murder, no? In that case, due to various interests, I'll take them into the care of the CID. This matter is highly classified, so I can't divulge any more details. You understand, I'm sure. Well, of course. Please, do with them what you will. Don't just turn your tail like that. Thought we finally got something. Then again, I suppose this was their request in the first place. Shouldn't be a problem to hand him over. However, while that guy might have been the scum of the earth, somebody did die today. I want both of you to keep that point well in mind. Yeah, I understand. Don't worry, you can leave the rest to me. Oh, so like Kayla's working directly under him, I see. And she got a bit of a redesign as well. From the looks of it, anyway. Van, I'm so glad they let you go. Yeah, it's all thanks to this guy over here. Well then, sir. I'll be taking my leave here. Yes, I'll leave that route to you. Make sure to report into the department chief. The CID? The Central Intelligence Division members, it seems. Sure seems like it. The young one seems pretty capable. The fact that you can just order around someone like that means you've really gotten ahead in your career, isn't it, Ren? Huh? Oh, it's pronounced Rune. Right. It's got the accent. So I guess I'm just gonna call him Rune. God, that's gonna take a while to get used to, huh? Actually, no. The accent's on the other E. What the fuck? Whatever. We're gonna call him Rune. I told you not to call me Rune. Long time no see, Van. It's been about 3 years since we last saw each other, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure I'd even call that meeting in person, to be honest. You're as cunning as ever, though, you savage Four Eyes. Not nearly as cunning as you, Spriggan. And by that, I'm referring to the way that you read your opponent's weak spots and make the most of the skills you have. Thanks, I guess. It's hard to tell if they like each other or hate each other. The CID is currently searching for the two-man team that took out Giacomo. Those two did leave a trace in that room, though it was faint. Huh? I knew you'd catch on fast. So in that case, I do rely on your sharp nose and your shady connections. But I don't particularly care about that request made by the young lady. In exchange, contact me if you learn anything important. Consider it payback for before. Damn it. Contact exchange complete. Interesting holo you've got there. By the way, Van, have you talked to her yet? Still naive, aren't you? Well then, take care of yourself. You too, miss. Oh. Do you happen to know him from somewhere? He's more like an old acquaintance. We're both about equally rotten, in a sense. Pain in the ass to him a favor, but he did save us some time, and he might help us out in the future, too. Both in relation to Giacomo's killer, and your request. Oh. Listen, you can pull out here if you want to. It's been a lot of trouble, but if we stop here, I'll even waive the fee for you. I know you don't fully trust me yet, but you can leave the rest to me. No. Somebody has already died, and that's all the more reason I can't turn a blind eye. At least allow me to accompany you for the rest of today. Would that be okay? Though I do apologize that I'll be a burden to you for a little while longer, Van. Say some good things for a student. Alright then, if you gathered your resolve, let's keep moving. From here, we should go back to the riverside on the subway. Are we heading back to the scene of the crime? No. The police are standing guard there. I've got another source. Let's hurry though, I would like to finish this today. Right. Excuse me, you have a moment? You just left the police station, right? It sounds like there was a murder. Were you here due to that case? And who exactly are you, miss? I'm a new reporter with the Tyrell Times, Marielle Aimee. I was just assigned to the local news department, and I overheard some info in a certain place. Do you happen to know anything about the case? Please, share with me anything that you might know. You got good eyes, young lady. As it turns out, an important witness is actually getting an interrogation right now. The one leading the interrogation is Inspector Nate. You'd probably learn a lot if you rushed in there right now. But Van... Oh, I can't thank you enough. Just watch, Dingo Brad. I'll break through this case for sure this time. Dingo Brad has got to be one of the dumbest names I've ever seen. Wait a minute. That important witness is... Looks like quite a disaster, huh? It's the usual. I'm gonna head over to see Bermonti now. This should be the rest of what you owe me over that lazy trust fund kid. I'll be counting on you. Leave it to me. Okay, so he's the guy from Ren's little thing in Hajimari. That's cool.
Come on, Van.
Don't just go and say reckless stuff like that. Come on, you know it'd be a pain in the ass to have a newbie reporter sticking her neck into things. Figure I'd set her on the police to give us a chance to move around a bit easier. Wait a second! Aw. Yeah, no, this prologue's a lot of fun so far. I'm really enjoying it. I'm still surprised that they just went up and killed the guy, like... I mean... Trails. They're finally doing it. Huh, as we thought, they're keeping a lookout. So, was Giacomo... His body's already been taken and probably sent to autopsy by now. The cut on his neck was so clean, it was practically fine art. About that other source you mentioned. Should be in that cafe bar over there. Oh, so they should be open by now, right? Well, they open at 5 today and they close around 2 in the morning. So, right now they should still be preparing to open up. We need to kill a bit of time until they do. Very well. Yeah, I can imagine you just be like, holy shit! Wonder if they clipped you doing that. Because I was guaranteed that you would've. But, it doesn't look like any of the NPCs have dialogue I can catch on to. Wasn't this the gang member from the opening? Either that, or they're just reusing NPC models. Which, I mean, is cool, but that is a very distinct shade of hair color. I'm gonna go save again. Maybe I'll give it a try. By the way, if you want to see somebody else playing through the game, go check out my buddy February Night 4. He's further ahead of me because he has access to the spreadsheet earlier than I do. Look at the one from 6 months ago. Yeah. Right, because that would have been your blind playthrough of it. Anyway, looks like they're still preparing. He should be here soon, but we should probably kill a bit of time first. Entering the shop will progress the main story. Bah. We know I'm gonna progress the main story anyway, it doesn't matter. Welcome. I was waiting for you, sweetie. I thought you'd show up soon. Oh my, and is that cutie your client this time? I've got to say, that uniform suits you well. You saw through me right away, didn't you? I'm the bartender and owner of this establishment, Bermati. And I have a very unique relationship with my darling Van. Unique? It's a give-and-take relationship we've had for years. This place is known for its coffee and Castella cake. And because of its various connections, it's become a good place to buy information. Oh. My name is Agnes Claudel. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Bermati. Oh, the pleasure's all mine. She's a very nice girl, Van. Let's go ahead and skip the details for now. I'm assuming you came regarding old man Giacomo. Yes. You've already heard the gist of it, then? Of course, it happened right on my front doorstep. He was in the same line of work as me, but he wasn't someone I respected. He was a real scoundrel, that old man. I can't say I don't feel bad for him, but I feel like he reaped what he sowed. He reaped what he sowed? Huh, so he did do something then. It wouldn't have happened to be yesterday evening, was it? You've always got your ear to the ground, don't you, Van? According to my intel, he tipped off the cops. A local gang is involved in large-scale drug dealings, is what he reported. Drug dealing? I did hear something about that. But that was false information then. Exactly. The police did bring in a few of the gang members, but there was no trace of drug dealing. However, they were caught up in a skirmish with someone, but we still haven't figured out who. And the ones who got captured said something like this. Who the hell snitched on us? Wasn't one of us, so maybe it was one of our allies. So, are you saying that those gang members had some kind of deal with the other party? And Yakumo called the police in order to take advantage of the chaos? Oh. Yeah, that sounds pretty likely. And then he made off with something that wasn't drugs at all. But in the end, he ended up being caught by that third party. Oh. I don't know what that something might be, but I'm looking into it. In any case, Yakumo was able to outwit both parties somehow. There's a good chance some funny business was involved. Don't tell me. He had a Zypha? No. There aren't many of those out on the market to be had. He probably got something a little older, and something that fit his purpose well, too. There are a few things like that still out in the black market, after all. You must be talking about the Ramdas, then. That's the 5th generation unit that they've used for a while in the Republic, isn't it? Yeah, the 5th generation tactical orbment developed jointly between the Verne Company and the Epstein Foundation. It was an awful standard device adopted by the military and police, but they were quickly forced to change to the new 6th generation on release. They were able to keep pace with the Arcus units from the Empire, and they had a particular use with their stealth function as well. A stealth function? So it could be used to hide something? It's primarily used to hide the user itself. To others, they seem to magically disappear. The amount of time you can do it persist depends on the user, and apparently it can be detected by infrared sensors. But it would make it a piece of cake to steal something in the midst of the chaos caused by the police. I see. It's all starting to make sense. So you noticed then. When we heard that scream and made it into the maintenance room, we didn't see anyone else there besides the freshly murdered Yakumo. But there were other people there. The ones who waited there for him and slit his throat. They reactivated their stealth function and walked right by us. Pretty bold group when you think about it like that. They're not your average criminals. Could they be Jaegers? Or perhaps... In any case, now that they've got the goods they're after, I don't think we can tail them anymore. No, that's not true. What? Right on time. I've been tailing that guy for a few years. I've got some security camera footage. Thanks. You can call us even now. By the way, as of yesterday, I didn't see any signs of any active groups. Still, you should be careful, though. I see. I owe you one. Who was that? I see. So Yakumo had been operating out of another hideout, too. You think the item in question might be there. But if they aren't Jaegers, then... Hold on a second, Van. More important than that, you asked Dingo for help. When you have me as your one and only, how could you? Sorry for being unfaithful. Oh my god. Van is so smooth, I love him. Well, we did come across a lot of surprising information, but your connections really astound me, Van. Yeah, well, they're for times like this, but it's not for this I usually get people in my debt, to be honest. Sounds like they must be some pretty impressive depths, huh? Impressive depths. Meow. Oh snap, it's Elaine. I was not expecting to see her in like the first hour and a half. Or almost 2 hours now. Huh? Oh? I did hear that you were a regular here. But to think I'd happen to come across you at a time like this. Huh, you can say that again. Seriously. First Rune, now you? What kind of day even is this? You can blame that on your sloppiness. You left behind quite a trail. You got dragged to the police station, and that's something you brought on yourself, I'm sure. Oh, not like I can deny that. So you came right away, asking questions? Correct. And they showed me the scene. Yakumo certainly was a troublesome figure, but he was an information broker we've made use of several times in the past. That aside, the inspector and that reporter from Tyrell were quite upset as well. I see you're still employing your usual tactic of scratching around until you grab something. I have no idea what you're talking about. Crap, she's as harsh as ever. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Elaine. I apologize for interrupting you so suddenly. Oh, not at all. We're both quite busy now, so I'll leave the catching up for another time. From now on, it's first come, first served. For the CID, the police, and us. And of course, that includes them as well. I'm sure you already realize this, but you have to properly draw the line somewhere from here on. The group that was after Yakumo was almost certainly A. Figured as much. Wait a second. You know that person, Van? Oh, you know her too? I suppose she does show up in magazines from time to time. Of course I know who she is. She's super famous. That was Elaine Auclair. The young ace from the Calvard Bracer Guild. The youngest A rank ever. I believe her title was the Sword Maiden. Passes herself off as a master of the old royal style. But maiden, huh? Seriously, can't help but feel bad for her. You two seem awfully close, though. She's a childhood friend of mine. Anyway, we don't have much time. Let's go ahead and finish this. We'll plan out our actions as we move. Man. So cool. I wasn't expecting to see all of the... I wasn't expecting to see her so soon. I'll admit. Seems pretty certain that the mysterious item we're pursuing is your keepsake. It was stolen about a week ago from an antique store. And then last night, when they tried to hand it over to that two-man group, there was likely some kind of financial dispute. Yakumo leaked the information to the police, snuck in during the chaos, and took it with his Ramda. But the next day, the same two captured Guacamo. They laid in wait for him at the scene, dispatched him, took his Ramda, and fled. By the way, the Ramda also functions as a terminal. It has all sorts of information tracking tools and memo apps. Knowing that old man, he most likely said it so it'd be hard to figure out the contents. Meaning that there's a decent chance the location of his other hideouts is contained within that app. So that would mean that the two-man group is searching for hints using the same terminal? Yeah, but given Yakumo's recent trends, we can narrow down the likely spots to just 3. front of the Trion Tower in the 3rd District, in Edith Central Station in the 7th District, and the Grand Circuit, the orbital racetrack near the 12th District. So, let me ask you something. Which one do you think is most likely? Let me think. I would have no idea, but thankfully, there's an answer. And the answer is Edith Central Station, the second choice here. Oh? And why do you say that? Well, the summer festival was going on at Trion Tower until yesterday. And I believe the Z1 Grand Prix is going on at the Grand Circuit now, too. That would mean there's plenty of people at both locations, so I thought it might get too hard to get close to the entrances for hideouts. Not bad at all. There's an inconspicuous passage leading underground in a back alley by the station. And there's a high chance that Guacamo hid that item there. Then we could... No, you should get off here. Huh? Your dorm is the next stop, right? I'll take care of all this tonight, and complete your request to return the item tomorrow. But you said I could accompany you! At least for the afternoon. However, considering who those two people really are, I have to draw the line here. You mean that aid group that Elaine mentioned? That's right. Lately, everyone has been vigilant about that group. It's not just the police or the guild. The other crime groups and the Jaegers are too. Huh? If it does turn out to be them, I'm not confident I could protect you on my own. So, that's why you should get off here. SP increased by 2. SP for Spriggan points. Oh snap, it was somebody else in the Aramis uniform. Plot twist, she's sticking around, because obviously.
Boy.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm sorry, I'm being selfish. But that thing I'm looking for has a special meaning to me. It doesn't just connect me to my great-grandfather, but also to my mom and my grandma. And not just them either. A man connected to it died today. I might get in your way, but even so, I want to see this through to the end. With my own eyes, with my own 2 feet. I'll take every precaution for my own safety. I'll follow whatever order you give. So please, may I come with you? Is this the new Devil May Cry? No. Not in the slightest. This is Kuro no Kiseki. Welcome, Silver. Well, fine. I guess you're the client after all. And you're pretty handy with those arts of yours, so you won't be a hindrance. But think about protecting yourself first. Any order I give, you have to follow. If you can't honor that much, our contract is null and void. Got it? Yes. Thank you so much. I don't know where genetics came from. I didn't type it. Yeah, this definitely isn't a genetics franchise. This is not Metal Gear Solid. That's also not Reen either. Loading screen. August 27th, 1844. 7th District, Edith Central Station. Sun's already set, huh? There isn't any kind of event going on, but it's still pretty crowded here. Well, this is the main entrance to the city. Plus, there's some well-established department stores around here. I heard a new cafe opened recently as well, doubling as a shop for all the latest Orbital goods. The Orbital Cafe Iota. It's right there. All these screens on the street, and they weren't here just a couple of years ago. And now they're all over the place. It's gotten pretty hectic here, huh? You're right about that. We will now present the news at 6:45 this evening. Today at 1500 hours, President Gramhart has held a scheduled press conference from the Vantile district. The main topic was regarding the reparations that have to be paid by the Erebonian Empire, which will be coming to an end within the year. I don't know, it's a weird time to start the news, that's for sure. 2 years ago, the Empire took up arms unilaterally against us and launched a war of aggression. We are prepared to forgive that transgression with open hearts. Though the asking price of the reparations has been high, it is completely justified. We can go so far as to say that the reparations are the price Erebonia has paid to help ease hundreds of years of violence and return themselves as one of the allied nations of this great continent. Now, finally, our country and the Empire, along with Crossbell, have forged a relationship built on unprecedented peace. There are some who voice concerns about an economic downturn at the end of the year, when the reparation payments are concluded. But this is needless worry. Over the past 2 years of economic growth, accumulation of wealth, and innovation, all of this has propelled Calvard to become the largest economy on the continent. There are no other nations that can compete with us. Still, we mustn't be overly haughty about this. In the position of this country that must lead the nations of Zemuria, we will be the pathway to the future for them all, including the Empire. President Roy Gramhart, huh? He comes across as very overbearing, but he really is the real deal. Thanks for the convenient plot dump. Yeah, no kidding. In the first year following his inauguration, our GDP had already surpassed that of the Empire and is projected to keep growing on. That's right. It seems like they're taking large steps in all sorts of areas, not just economic growth. Yep. Of course, some people will say they preferred President Rocksmith because he was more down-to-earth, but hey. Alright, let's leave the politics to the side for now and get moving. After all, we do have some business rivals headquartered around here. Huh? Nah, I'm sure he's fine. He's just a politician, and we know politicians aren't evil. The Bracer Guild. I did hear that it wasn't far from Central Station. Yeah, it may always be darkest under the lighthouse, but the Bracers don't mess around. Let's outwit that pair together before they can sniff them out. We need to get you back your long-lost item, after all. Right. And the entrance to the hideout is right over there. It's down the alleyway to the right of that old department store. Let's go check it out. Right. Let's not say we did. Hey, Sergey. That's not Sergey. Triton Tower's so beautiful from over here. Well, standing at 230 yards tall, you can see that thing from anywhere in the city. No matter what station they come in from, it's usually the first thing a tourist sees. No, can't go that way. Anyway, we can talk to this guy, because his lines are actually translated. Yo, brother! Lovely night we got here. Like the fresh night air just swept away all that hustle and bustle you feel. Anyway, we want to go out a night like this? Feel like taking a ride? This taxi driver seems a bit weird. Whoa, but he's got a nice car there. Kinda want to take him up on that offer, but... Sorry, I've got business around here. Gonna have to pass for today. Oh, no problem, man. No problem. Sorry to bother. Name's Giordano. That's with a G. Hit me up if you want to take a spin anytime, brother. When do we get our Gundam? Well, if it's anything like, Cold Steel, not until the end of the game. Apparently I should talk to him again. Name's Giordano. I'm pretty popular around these parts. Got anywhere you need to be in a flash? I'm your man. Feel free to take a ride whenever you want, brother. Does this one talk to? I don't know, maybe. This store... This place is kind of special. It's led to a place that isn't connected to the subway systems. Just as easy to get open, though. So I assume Yakumo's behind this one as well? Nope. This one's a hideout that's been used by black market merchants for a long time. There are plenty of places like this, and they come in handy. Seems like the guild and the CID are aware, but they intentionally leave them be to keep an eye on them. Is that so? Sorry, I know now's not the time for these questions. I'm prepared, Van. Let's keep moving. Perfect. After me, then. We're gonna save first. I don't think we're half vampire in this game. I think that was a one-time trick. Is something wrong? It's nothing. Let's head inside. Did I imagine it? Well, I didn't catch that smell, so it should be fine. Always poking your nose into trouble. I don't know how this will turn out. But please take care of my little junior, Mr. Fixer. We are Van Arkride, Spriggan Extraordinaire. We're basically like, shady handyman. We do things that are morally ambiguous for profit. You know. Underground ruins, Central Station. So he's Batman! Yep, we're Batman. That's it, we figured it out. Are these ruins from the Middle Ages? I think so. Although, honestly, they could go back even further than that. Up to the Dark Ages, even. May not be as old as the old capital, but Edith itself can still trace its origins back to the Middle Ages. Thanks to the presence of the subways and the sewers in modern times, the underground's gotten to be pretty chaotic. I see. So it wouldn't be too surprising if we found... What's wrong? Was that... Fan? What the hell is that? No. She wouldn't say hell. She's a good girl. Van, what is that? A monster? Nah. This is some kind of spiritual life form. Never seen anything like it in the capital. What the hell's going on? What do you want to do? Want to turn back? There's a cafe up there that you could wait at. No, it'll be fine. It's just a hunch, but I feel like my arts and orbal staff will be effective against it. So I think it'll be worth it to have me along. Huh. Well, if you're prepared then, let's get moving. I'll be counting on your support again. Don't push yourself too hard, but give me all you got. Right. Oh, right. Let me give this to you now, just in case. Receive the Evade 1 quartz and the Mind 1 quartz. These are for installing on my Zypha? That's right. If you install these, you'll be able to work with multiple shards. In any case, it'll be better to just practice with them than talking about it. Understood. I'll give it a shot. Quartz. You can set quartz from the quartz tab of the main menu. You can set quartz into any slot you've opened. Character stats will be boosted based on the quartz they have equipped. By pressing the touchpad, you can auto-equip recommended quartz. Press square on the menu to open the orbment customization screen and set quartz. So the game's going to make us do that. This is the orbment menu. Many things. So... actually, I want to put the Mind one on, I think. Yeah, and then I can put the Evade one here. I'm sure those lines mean something, but I don't think it'll be important until I can actually, like, unlock slots here. Alright, I should be set then. Right, gather your resolve and let's... Wait, this presence... no mistaking it. The higher elements are at play. The higher elements? Yeah, not sure if you caught on in the battles we've had so far, but... there's basically 4 elements that can be used to target the weaknesses of monsters. Earth, water, fire, and wind. Rarely, though, you'll find places where the higher elements are also effective. Space, time, and mirage. I see. So we're in one of those places now? Sure seems like it. Well, whatever. Let's get moving. Elemental weakness. You can see elemental weaknesses of your targets during command battles. Shard skills have been added to the notebook. I gotta stop backflipping from orbment stations. Got item! Showed up without making a sound. And this many might be difficult to deal with. True. But this is exactly the kind of situation where a shard's true value can be seen. Unlocking SCLM. SCLM? Just follow my lead. Starting combat. SCM stands for Shard Circular Linked Metafield. That's an annoying acronym. SCLM will automatically activate when 2 allies are near to each other. The system utilizes their Zypha shards to enable them to perform linked actions. Okay, so this is the link system, kind of similar to Cold Steel, I see. SCLM Chain. Using a normal attack when linked to an ally via the SCLM will cause them to perform a follow-up attack. Some shard skills have a higher activation rate when linked. Okay. I see. So you gotta be, like, right on them, though. Gotcha. SCLM Chain using normal attack when linked to an ally by SCLM will cause them to perform a Sometimes when an ally linked by SM using Arkride, the partner will buff their damage. I see. Can I get all 3 of them? I've got crits here, so I might as well go for crits. Okay, follow-up's cool. What the hell? Okay, that's good to know. Oh, I have attack craft now too. Damn, big hammer, but like no damage, so probably not going to use that very often. That hammer's EP drain. Okay. Very good for her to just recover EP. I see. Okay, so it's like... occasionally you do less damage to get your EP recover. That's cool. These guys are actually pretty chunky. Zero Arts also have the zero delay? Yes, it does. Excellent. That's cool. Not bad. You did a pretty good job keeping up.
So, this is the SCLM. It's fairly surprising just how well of a read I was able to get on your movements when we were linked.
It was originally a feature of the 5th generation Arcus units that were used in the Empire. It's kind of similar to the combat links they were able to use, though their system was designed to be operated in set pairs, whereas this system you can change your partner on the fly. If we ever wound up fighting as a team, the system would really show its merit.
I see. That seems very practical. But not only the SCLM, the shards are incredible as well.
They sure are. And there are features we haven't even come across yet, too. I think the Zypha's an orbment with tremendous combat potential. That aside, your Orbital Staff seems to be effective against spiritual enemies, too.
Yeah, I was relieved to see that as well. Thanks to you, I feel like I'm becoming more and more confident. It seems like we'll have to keep putting the SCLM to practical use from here on out. And so I was hoping you'd permit me to join you in fighting a bit closer to the front.
Well, just a bit, okay? Be careful not to overdo it.
I'll keep it in mind.
You can now change the leader character. By pressing L1, you can change the leader. Man specializes in physical close-range attacks, while Anya specializes in ranged magic attacks. You can change your leader based on the enemy and situation. Alright, let's do it. I mean, the game's gonna let us do it, so why don't we just, you know, be as cool as possible while we're doing it. Alright, these are AT bonuses. No standard stuff. Give me that EP. Ooh. Damn you and your 0 arts turns. That's not cool. Oh, van's on fire. Alright, I got all 3 of them. I suppose I could. I suppose I probably should, too, considering it's more advantageous that way. Nope, I did that wrong. Whatever. Again, I gotta stop doing that whenever I see treasure chests. Like, immediately just jump back. Arts plus 5. Okay. Arts plus 5 does not seem like a very effective, like, increase in stats. Because, I mean, I guess it's a little more than 10% right now, so I guess it helps for the moment. I'm leaving the HP up on Anya's because even at, even with this plus 200 on, she's still lagging behind Van in the good stuff. Oh. Yeah, and also... Let's get some more, Let's get some more EP. Ooh, that thing. Wow. If I can break something, I'm going to break it. Okay. Damn it, they're not. I can't get both of them. Okay. Demon Fang? Nah. I mean, I got Pow Hammer, but I don't have Demon Fang. Oh, they're giving me U materials now. Dope. There should be some kind of trigger, but that's... Sounds like he's figuring something out. I should leave him be. A trigger? It couldn't be. No, I used the wrong spell, damn it. Yeesh. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to break off art to do this, but 0 arts is good. I also like that they just show what arts they're weak to when you pull it up on the screen there. You just be like, yeah, use this. How do I get around that? Oh, there's a door here that I just didn't see. Gotcha. Clever. Seriously. EP recovery item. There's quite a few enemies this time, huh? I guess at a time like this... Mare, you think we can use the boost?
Boost gauge has completely filled.
Got it. What was that? Just follow my lead. We're entering a battle with the shard. This is lesson number 2. Shard boost. Pressing L1 will activate shard boost. You will gain various buffs based on your hollow core, and your shard skill activation rates will increase. At boost level 1, you will gain these effects for 2 turns. At level 2, you will gain these effects for an additional turn, and your shard skill activation rates will be increased even further. Additionally, you will be able to expend 100 CP to perform an S-craft. You can press and hold L1 to cancel the shard boost's activation. So... Okay, so I do that. Then I go to my... Do I not have an S-craft? Not yet. Okay. I was a bit concerned, but I guess that's understandable. I just don't have it unlocked yet, which is sensible. Oh, is he frozen? God damn it. No, that's another stab spec entirely. Oh, that's the buff one. Okay, I see. Gotcha. That popped on the screen so fast I could barely see what it all did. Boom. Okay, that's cool. So, I should pretty much just use those judiciously, since they seem like they recover pretty fast. Well, that's how it should go. So that's the shard's S-boost. Seems like it can be a real lifesaver in battle. I guess. It's not as huge of a deal as it might seem. Just use it when you can use it.
I see. That does seem the most efficient way to go about it. Understood, Van.
Battle results. Here you can view XP set with items gained in battle. By pressing up on the D-pad, you can see the results in more detail. You can also view past battle results in the text log. All of these are translated in the combat spreadsheet. Do we have the combat spreadsheet yet, or are we still waiting for that? Because it looks like the demo spreadsheet here just has Prologue, Chapter 1, and side quests. About breaking objects. You can find items in barrels, blah blah blah, destroy them, you gain CP and stuff. Standard fare. Standard savoir fare.
It's in the full shoot. Gotcha. I got 9 EP out of that, so it's not... It does give me EP, but it's not very effective at it. I think it's dependent on damage done with it, and it seems like it's a physical attack, so if I use it on, like, more physically, or whatchamacallits, less resistant enemies, it might be more effective that way. Ooh. Level up. And I guess level up also heals me to full, so I should try leveling up as much as possible. What a large enemy! Probably goes without saying, but huge enemies like that have a power about an order of magnitude higher than the rest. Let's keep a safe distance before we start the fight. About enemies' heart attacks. Enemies may launch powerful attacks called heart attacks at regular intervals. These attacks cannot be avoided, and if they hit you, the battle will start with the enemy having the first move. Therefore, it's a good plan to keep a safe distance or initiate a shard battle. Heart attacks. If an enemy is in a pinch, they will use heart attacks more frequently. Yeah. You know. I didn't quite get my R1 off in time. Or I was like, yeah, let's start battle to be safe. Yeah, I got nothing on his stun gauge, I'm an idiot. Oh, that's not centered on it, that's just it moves. Fuck. Yeah, no, yeah, it's moving down. Alright. This one is weak against fire, wind, and space. Huh. Ooh. Rude. Oh, I didn't know multiple hits were actually good in this game. Okay. Well. Let's just, you know, get this stuff.
cool. That was neat.
I think I've got the hang of this.
You're doing fine, but don't let your guard down.
Yes, of course.
She's honestly pretty impressive. And today was really her first time in battle? It seems like she's from a high upbringing, but she's got thick skin. There must be something really special about what she's looking for.
Van?
Yeah, what's up?
Of course, we can't afford to take our focus off the monsters and the spirit enemies, but... could I ask you a bit about that A group as well?
It's probably a good idea. I mean, it's not exactly information you should know, but... it does concern your great-grandfather's legacy. I guess you can't help but wonder.
Yes, that's what I thought.
A is a code name, of course. It's actually the name of the Mafia that was once active in the Republic, named Armada.
The Armada Mafia?
Yep, it's never a really big group. Compared to the infamous Eastern Syndicate, they were regarded as a little more by some than... they were regarded as little more than some riffraff. However, in the past few years or so, they've increased their power and size by several orders of magnitude. Perhaps about 10 times at this rate. Now they're the biggest thing in the Calvard's underworld.
So that's what we're dealing with? And none of this was reported in the news.
Yeah. Big names like Tyrell avoid the subject, of course. Even smaller tabloids are hesitant to report on them. And the reason for that's pretty simple. Reporting on those groups in earnest, there's a good chance they would get erased. I don't really know anything about your great-grandfather's legacy. But for a situation like this, it probably would have been easier to rely on the guild or the police. Which is what I told you at the beginning of all this, of course.
Well, that's...
Look, I'm not going to force it out of you. I am from the Solutions office, after all. In any case, the best case scenario would be for us to recover what you've lost, and then we can let the bracers take care of the rest. So it's 2 birds, 1 stone. Or perhaps 3 birds?
I feel like that's putting a lot on the guild and being unfair to them. You really are a bad guy, aren't you?
Hey, I'll take that as a compliment. Alright, let's get moving.
Right. Oh, that reminds me. Just like you said at the beginning, you said. Did you know the Mafia was involved from the start when I showed you the image?
Oh. She really is sharp. It's just my intuition. Something's been smelling fishy ever since last night. You can change the difficulty if you want. I don't want. Also, this makes it seem like that's the way I should be going, so let's explore everywhere else first. Treasure! God damn it, I keep doing that! Oh, it's a Zerum powder. Nice. The fact that they're just throwing those at me makes me a bit concerned, though. Alright, Van, hit the other one. Leave me alone. Alright, I can dodge roll. I completely forget about my dodge roll when I'm doing this. Now I can treat it like an East game where I just go whoosh 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 whoosh. Yep, dodge rolls. Always be dodge rolling. That's the #1 rule I learned today. Looks like a hit 1 quartz. Bit more than that, though. Hit plus 25 and critical rate plus 2%. Dope. Van has a free line. Let's go and put it there. I have no idea what those are, but I hope they're good. Oh, sorry. I should heal up. Not what I wanted. I'm gonna save before I continue. Alright. Into the pits of hell we go. It doesn't look like we can go much further. We should take a look around. A hidden door? Not bad at all. This is definitely his hideout. No, I didn't even need to use up my EP because this was right there. And I mean, I just saved, so let's go. Oh. Quite the atmosphere, huh? And those stone gargoyles look like they're straight out of the Middle Ages. Yakumo is pretty savvy to make his hideout in a place like this. Oh. Ah. That looks just like the picture you showed me. Yeah. It matches the sketch in my great-grandfather's notebook exactly. So it really is here. I'm happy for you. This strange light seems to be giving off some kind of orbital energy. Get back! Huh? Oh man, so many ghosts. The statues! Ugh, this is bad. The Dark Ages are alive and well down here? God damn it. Yes. Yes, they are. It's activating? Oh, is this the boss music? Dope. Twin Defenders, Gargoyle. But Van! What a pain. Looks like you can't get the treasure without cleaning up the trash. You want to get your great-grandfather's keepsake back at any cost, right? Make the best use out of everything I've taught you. Use the STLM and your combat skills to take them out. Right. Alright, it's time to cut loose. Van's S-Brake is now available to us. You can use R2 and a directional button to activate your S-Brake. After the S-Craft is activated, blah blah blah. An S-Craft can be activated when your character has 100 CP is fully boosted. You can only activate an S-Brake if they are boosted, or if you have enough in the boost gauge to boost them. You can also select an S-Craft from their list of crafts during their normal turn. While under the effect of certain statuses, S-Crafts cannot be used, so be careful. Whenever an S-craft is used during a fight, the boost gauge will expend by 1 slot. You can have a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 9. By expending the boost gauge, you'll be able to chain more S-crafts in a row. Okay, so I'm not currently boosted right now, but let's do this. Say I'm going to use it. And oh. Whenever an S-craft is used in a fight, the boost gauge will expand by 1 slot. Okay, so that's what that is. Yeah, I see. By expanding the boost gauge, you'll be able to chain more S-crafts in a row. Okay, and even though I did just boost once, it used up my slots. It used up 3. Alright. They are... Yikes. Nice of them to bunch up together like that. God, these guys hit hard. Hit him again. $682, $440. I'm getting close. I might. No, I should play this defensively. Oh, shit, they buffed themselves. That is all buffs, yes? Strength, defense, arts, defense. Fuck. Why? Why you gotta be so rude? Oh, hell yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. So, you can see what the extra details on the tactical menu looks like. Yeah, that's cool. That is cool, I gotta say. Guardians left by sorcerers from the Middle Ages. Well, those old ghosts aside, it's pretty strange that they showed up at a time like this. I really saw your determination back there. Not bad for a student. Your arts and crafts, and the way you used the SCLM really came together there. Oh. Thank you very much. It's all thanks to your leadership, Van. Heh. Alright then. Given the circumstances, I think I should be the one to pick it up.
Right.
Looks like there's no issues. Alright. This is what you requested. Resonance. Like the combat orbments? This is Genesis. What my great-grandfather left behind. It's only the beginning, but... I did it! Mom. Grandma. Hey, Agnes. Was your great-grandfather... You bastards! Huh, so you managed to dodge. Armada's rumored two-man team. Didn't realize we were getting famous. And you're that Spriggan, Van Arkride, right? I'm glad you know me. I know I've accepted requests from people like you in the past. But when you take pot shots at me like that, it kind of excludes us from future business opportunities. Well, that's a shame. And we only meant to aim at your arms and legs. We don't need to kill the girl. She seems related to that device after all. Although, you on the other hand aren't quite so lucky. You seem like pros. So professional that it makes me sick. Well, if you're gonna be like that, I guess I'll respond in kind. Huh? Ah. Easy now. Don't move. Ugh. Huh? A coin launched with the flick of a finger. So you're a user of the Moonflower style. And that weapon of yours lets you use a mix between military sword techniques and hand-to-hand combat. You guys know a lot, but I'm not actually a practitioner of the Moonflower style. And you have no idea about my weapon, do you? Now, why don't you go ahead and tell me about everything you're trying to do here? Van? I'm pretty curious. Why do people like you, from the underworld, want this? Who can say? We're just following orders. And, considering the orders came from him, we have to carry them out even if we die in the process. What? Huh? The fuck? Oh shit. Hey, you alright? I'm fine. But what about you, Van? Are you okay? They boosted themselves with drugs. Never would have expected they'd stoop this far. Don't you know about the idiots of the other countries who fell to ruin because of that? Don't compare us to those nobodies from Ravach. The composition and effectiveness of this is in a totally different class. Now we'll tear you limb from limb. Ugh. What happened to all that vigor from before? At this rate, we're gonna torture you to death. And now to end it. Die, Spriggan! Hello, friend. No! Ugh, the brat! And we'll just kill them both at once! Shard defense? No. Won't make it in time. Bullshit. For someone like me? Huh? What? Stream's going well, the off. I'm glad you could pop in and say hello. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, typically I have it set so only people who follow me or I follow can raid me, so. But yeah, thank you very much for the thought at least. Meanwhile though. What's going on? This light, it's from my great-granddad's. Looks like you're in quite the pinch, aren't you? What? Wait, you're... the hollow from Van Zypha? This is Mare. How about it, Van? Will you don the nightmare? Or won't you? What's going on? 3D visualization of a hollow? I've never even heard of something like this, but whatever. Are you asking me that question out of your own free will? Well, that's a given, isn't it? Oh, and let me warn you, I didn't appear just because you were in a pinch. I'm simply here to present you with an option. Will you don the nightmare, or not? Van? This is getting more and more ridiculous by the day. That's fine, though. I've been living in a nightmare for 10 whole years now. I like the little UI tech here. Dawn the nightmare. Bring it on! Roger that. Leave it to me. Release the shard. Take the Grendel. Oh. What is this? So, we don't quite get a mecha. What we do get is a Super Sentai suit, though. Demonic gear, clad in blue darkness. Grendel. Henshin a go-go, baby! What is the sensation? Compared to our bosses, you don't stand a chance! We'll trample you under our feet. In the name of Armada! Anyway, gotta sleep now. Hope my screen goes well. Thank you very much for popping in and saying hi, and appreciate you stopping in and saying hello. Alright, so Grendel tutorial. Grendel can use multiple attacks in a row. Select the craps you wish to use from the list and use one powerful attack after another. If you choose to defend, you can't use more actions. Grendel will always have Mare as his hollow core. Grendel's attacks, basic attacks, can be used as many times as you want. Physical and magical can deal respective damage type, they can be used once per chain. When boosted, Grendel can spend 100 CP to utilize his S-Craft. When under the effective S-Boost, you can make some additional move each turn up to 3. So, like, if I wanted to do this. I see. This looks fun. Can select up to 3 things, I I guess that's what that's saying. Oh man, this theme is a bop though. I'm gonna just keep using regular attacks until I can get my I should, but also this gives me HP, so it seems fine. Oh, I don't even need to use my freaking S-Craft. I'm just gonna go with this. Overkill. Broke his skull with that shit. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Impossible! He's a monster! Huh? Van, are you alright? You look hurt. Yeah, I'm exhausted, but I'm fine otherwise. I was expecting these drug-enhanced mafia members to be like schoolyard bullies, but they were genuine monsters. And Mare appeared back there too, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah, what is it? State your request already. Yep. That's about what I expected. At this point in time, there's no such thing as a self-aware AI. The technology simply doesn't exist. But in that case... It's because of this Genesis, right? It does seem to be related. So, this thing is called Genesis, right? Yes. My great-grandfather wrote about it in his notes. The Octogenesis. There are 8 of them in total. Wait, seriously? Between the appearance of Mare and that phenomenon where I turned into a strange monster, and the spiritual creatures that appeared underneath the city as well, I have a feeling everything is connected to that device you're holding right there. Right. I did know it was a device meant to observe their experiments, but I had no idea of the details. I see. So the most important parts were left out of the notes. So, your great-grandfather was C. Epstein, right? Huh? Looks like I'm spot on. That antique was made around the time of the Orbital Revolution. About half a century ago. It's fairly obvious that it was constructed using extraordinary technique and finesse. And while it may be an orbment, it also possesses the power to summon supernatural phenomena, like an ancient artifact. I mean, nobody else is surprised, but I'm kind of surprised that that Epstein is involved in that. Epstein ended up being her great-grandfather. I was like, yeah, I hear the rumblings, and it's like, are they going to really go that direction? But they did, so cool. Let's see where they go from here. The 3 disciples would have been unable to construct something like that back then. Impossible for anyone other than their teacher, the father of the Orb of Revolution, Claude Epstein. I really like that we get to see all the young disciples here. Tita's grandfather's looking less like Professor Wily. G. Smith's looking suave and dapper. And Latoya Hampton looks pretty nice there, too. I apologize for not telling you sooner. I'll tell you everything, Van. I just haven't had the chance up until now. Nah, we can save that for later. We have to clean this up for now. Van, are you okay? Huh? Sorry, I missed the line. What happened here? Oh dear, seems like we've missed the party. And are they? Those are the ones from Armada. So you finally caught up with them. Don't get in our way. This is our jurisdiction. I should tell you the same thing. Private organizations should step aside. What exactly happened here? It looks like you engaged them in battle. Yeah, they transformed after taking some drugs. I was able to suppress them somehow, but you should be careful. And how exactly did you manage to suppress them? Were you able to fulfill the request of your young client, then? No comment. This is confidential, after all. I think you're all in my debt to some extent. I'll calculate how much you owe me and convert it into a loan. How about I hand over one member each to one of your organizations? What? What in the world are you... We do have to credit him with the successful containment of the targets. Very well. The CID and the Guild will take them into custody as we please. Hopefully you get some info out of them. Well then, I'm heading out. Understood. Let me at least offer you a shoulder. Nah, don't worry about it, I'm fine. Seems something is starting, based on what happened here tonight. You'd better keep your wits about you. I hear you, Rune. I told you not to call me that. I just can't accept it. He's always carrying the load by himself, never sharing the burden with anyone. Aw. I can see why one person I follow on Twitter a lot is so excited about Van Elaine. They do seem very cute. Although I would like to see something reciprocal before I go, yeah, it's good. But hey, it's there. It's cool. August 27th, 2205. Old Capital, 8th District, Montmartre. Oh, crap. I probably missed dinner by now. And don't you have to make it back to the dorm? Isn't there a curfew at Aramis? Actually, I made sure to submit a notice that I'd be out until midnight. But first, please allow me to treat your wounds.
Do you have a first aid kit? Well, sure I do, but... It looks like your wounds are healing already. Well, they weren't very serious in the first place, but still. Yeah. I'm definitely healing way too fast. I wonder if it's because of that monster form. What started all of this was a notebook left behind by my mother when she died 4 years ago. A keepsake left behind by my great-grandfather, kept by my grandma and mother for half a century. Created, as you suspect, by C. Epstein, the inventor of the orbment. He had an adopted daughter who went missing after his death. I guess my grandmother went to hiding for some reason. She did leave a message behind, but it didn't contain any reason for her disappearance. After the death of my mother, my father became totally absorbed in his work. And I found myself reading more and more of my grandmother's memoirs. But of course that doesn't mean I actually remember any of the formulas or the technical information. But many things were laid out in terms of my great-grandfather's view on philosophy, on the important things in life. Daily interactions, his bonds with his family, the interactions with his disciples. I came to learn that he was a warm, humorous, and most of all, respected man. Oh man, I have not actually had to go into, you've got an error in your spreadsheet stuff until line 1394. Humorous is spelt wrong, so I'll have to type that up real quick. And I'm very glad that my grandma, mother, and I were able to inherit that understanding of who he was. As I read more and more of his memoirs, they slowly started to become my greatest treasure. Oh, yeah, line 1390 should be a great-grandfather. Because context. Well, I guess if they were written by his grandmother about... Yeah, whatever, I'll leave it as is. I'm not... That's not my concern. However, after finishing several volumes, the lines on the last lines on the page said, "Please, recover the lost Genesis, or recover the Oct Genesis, by 120X. If you do not, everything will come to an end." What does that mean? Of course, it could just be the delusions of a dying man. But when I think about how much meaning had been inherited by my grandma, mother, and myself, I just felt like I had to do something. But things like my grandmother going into hiding made me feel like I couldn't do anything after all. After a while, I attended Aramis, and I got to know a very reliable upperclassman. Thanks to her advice, I consulted the Orbital Net and wound up at this office. I never imagined in my wildest dreams that things might end up like this. That someone would actually die. That you would end up in serious danger. Well, in any case, we were able to safely recover what you were after.
It sounds like there's 7 more of these things, though. You plan on getting your hands on all of them?
Yes. They have a very special meaning to me and my family. And now that I've seen proof that these devices exist, combined with what he wrote at the end of his memoirs, I cannot turn away from this. I have 50,000 mira here. This is the full amount I was able to prepare. Please, accept this as the fee for today's request.
Did I forget to explain my fee to you at the start?
Well, you could also accept it as repayments for the nuisance caused today. You even got injured. I'm sure I can find the rest of them by myself somehow, without involving anyone else. Oh, and I'll be sure to take care of myself too. Huh?
The Arkride's typical fee is 1,000 mira per hour, plus other expenses. This time, there's danger that would normally generate an additional fee, but since you did help me out yourself, considering the extra danger you were put in, even as a contingency fee, the most I could ask for would be 10,000. That's what it means to work for a living. Don't underestimate it, student.
But... I'm sorry. I don't really know what to do.
Well, considering that all culminated in me turning into a monster, you could say a lot of interesting stuff happened. So, I've got another idea for that extra money you've got on hand.
Huh?
If you promise not to give up, I'll continue to support you. In exchange, I'd like you to provide information about the Genesis and his memoirs, or whatever else you can. I think that sounds fair, no?
Huh? So, you mean, even though in the future there may be dangers similar to the ones we just faced, you'll still help me out? Even if I don't pay the retainer?
I told you already, there's terms for this exchange. And I won't be accepting a single mira more. Oh, and also, considering we have many more crises to deal with going forward, you'll need to get more comfortable with battle. To the level where you can protect yourself. It's not going to get any easier from here on out.
But that's... I'm the only person who stands to gain from this. Very well then. I'll be relying on you from here on out.
Yeah, same here. Alright, well, I think that's enough talk. It's time for today's special prize. The limited late summer black fig Andalusia tart! I did intend to eat the whole thing myself. But since today is a special occasion, I'll split it with you.
Thank you very much. Oh, I got an idea. Well, I think the conditions you outlined weren't particularly fair. So, as a small extra exchange, please allow me to work here as a part-timer.
What?
You seem like you're awfully busy, and this place of yours is an absolute mess. I'm actually quite used to organizing documents. I think I could be a big help to you. Oh, and you can pay as much as you think is appropriate. You can pay nothing if you want either. No way in hell! There is something called the Labor Standards Act, you know. Wait a second, that's not the main issue here. This whole idea is messed up. Why are we suddenly talking about you working as a part-timer? Well, you did say you didn't charge additional fees. I do understand that if it's your style, but as a student, there are certain things that I cannot accept. What? Ah, I'll cut the tart then. You can have the bigger piece, of course. And where are your coffee beans? Oh, they're on the shelf here. Why are you looking for my coffee? Don't just go through my stuff! Oh, that's adorable. Alright, and we got the opening. We're doing it. I don't know if I should skip this for spoilers or not, but I don't care. We're watching it anyway. I've got to say, the opening is always aces. Alright, prologue end. I got some money, it looks like. 10,000, in fact. Alright, my rank is now E+. I got an item for that, too. Looks like a, well, it's fairly good for lines. I don't know what that is exactly. I will have to figure that out later. Anyway. Got an S rank for the chapter because I got the one question right. This is your standard reporting system stuff. Agnes has joined the Arkride Solutions office. 16 years old, address Auburn District, Aramis High School student dorms. We did it. Alright. Well, I could keep going, but I think stopping at the prologue is a good place to stop for now. Thank you all for coming. I had a ton of fun playing this game. I'm really excited to continue on with it. And, yeah, so the full spreadsheet will be coming out on the 4th. I figure if I take 2 streams to do Chapter 1, depending on how long it is, then I should be in a fairly good position to get started, like, right on time. So, yeah, well, we'll see how that goes, but hoping for the best. If you guys want to help support the channel, please feel free to follow me on Twitch, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Every little bit helps. Yeah, and if you want to help out even further, feel free to throw me some tips. You can use the download link down below to do so. Yada yada yada. Anyway, that's enough self promotion. Have a good night, everyone, and we will see you next time. Toodaloo.